Today's critical update to the XRP ledger brings us one step closer to flipping that switch and bringing the banks and the institutions into our ecosystem using DeFi within the XRP ledger. So today's amendment is the Decentralized Identifier, DID amendment, and it is set to be going live here today in the coming hours, so long as none of the validators pull their votes. And so we've been through the 2-week activation period. It's going to be going live here today. And I'm going to explain why this critical update here for the XRP ledger brings us one step closer to bring in all the money in here to our ecosystem. Let's get started out here by taking a look at the markets, and then we'll talk about it. So starting off here, Bitcoin up to 73,000 over the past couple days. We've seen this run up, right? 73,700. We've cooled off this morning down to 71,000 here. Basically tapped down to about 71.4, cooling off and hanging out at 71.8 as I record this update just past 9 a.m. on the West Coast. 52 cents for XRP, bouncing off of a backtest of the 52 cent level. Just kind of hanging out and chopping sideways in this region, and we're waiting for this one. In the meantime, we are no longer waiting for a new all-time high for gold. For those of you that have been waiting around, well, you just wait a couple days in between the new all-time highs being set here with gold, as we've seen this one continue to climb day after day, small pullbacks along the way, but here we are busting through 2,800 this morning. So in the overnight trading hours for the futures here, we saw that gold busted through 2,800. We've tapped off the level here close once again, and we're actually climbing as I record this update. Looks like we're about to pierce through it once again. $2,800 per ounce gold. Now, if you're looking to pick up silver, it did pull back this morning. Looks like gold's getting all the attention right now. Silver was at 34.5 cents, pushing up towards 35 bucks yesterday. Now we just saw that it got cleaned out here this morning, actually going all the way down to about $33.64. So a pullback opportunity on silver while we watch gold continue to soar to new all-time highs. If you guys are looking to get precious metals, we can deliver them directly to your door, or we can actually help facilitate rolling over a 401k retirement account as well. That is available with all of our community resources at zachrector.com. And I also have quick links in the description of the video down below. Now, let's talk about this amendment. This is absolutely critical for bringing institutions into our DeFi ecosystem. They're not going to come play around with, all these, I'm not going to say that they're not going to play around with the memes, but they're probably not going to be playing around with the memes. That's not the DeFi that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the AMM. I'm talking about some of these other functions that are coming to the XRP ledger. To be able to play around in this ecosystem, they need to be able to identify who and what they're working with. That's what this amendment's going to do. This was proposed and put together here by Mayuka Vadari. She is the senior software engineer at RippleX, and she's been doing incredible work here. I believe that this was her first amendment that she actually put forward herself. So she's been doing some really good work here at Ripple. Not just for Ripple, though. This is for the XRP ledger ecosystem, right? This is for the XRP ledger itself. DID amendment goes live today. Decentralized identifiers in Web3 can be pretty confusing. When looking into how they work, here's an explainer for XLS40 and DID on the XRP ledger. First, what is a DID? The term DID usually refers to a decentralized identifier. A DID is a unique user-owned identifier that isn't controlled by any central authority. Sounds good to me. A DID is roughly equivalent to a fingerprint in the real world. Everybody has one, and though it doesn't really do anything on its own, it's useful in other contexts. For example, it can connect to verifiable credentials or other data that prove who you are without relying on a centralized authority. The way DIDs are implemented typically follows the World Wide Web Consortium, that's the W3C specification. They are intended to be persistent, globally resolvable, cryptographically verifiable, and decentralized, and are designed to be compatible with any distributed ledger or network. The XLS40D spec was written by this person here, Anshul Malhotra. Okay. So it looks like this one was not written by Mayuka. She must have been working on it. She's been working on a few others, so I kind of lose track trying to keep up with all these developers, who's working on what. But nonetheless, Oh no, yeah. I guess I should have written. The spec was written by this person, and the code was written by me, Mayuka. So Mayuka did write this. I was correct. Trying to keep up to date with these guys. They're doing a lot of work over here. A DID is represented on-chain via a series of two-way links, bidirectional pointers. The user creates a DID document and links it in their on-chain DID object on the XRP ledger. The DID document also refers to the on-chain DID object, so there's no way for someone else to forge your identity. In other words, the document says your account is part of its identity, and the account says that the document is its identity. So there's the visualization right there. Now, we don't need to get lost in the weeds on the technicalities of how this works, but basically, very simply put, this is basically bringing KYC capabilities to the ledger in a decentralized way, where you're not having to rely on any centralized third party or centralized point to be able to prove who you are. This is done so in a decentralized way. And one way that I heard Mayuka explain this in a Twitter space was, for example, when you're going, say you and your buddies want to get in the club and you got to show your ID. Well, what they're looking for is to see that you're 21, right? So what this will be able to do is essentially you'd be able to go and show that bouncer that you're 21 without showing them where you live, right? Because your address is on your ID, right? So in this new system, in this new, Web3 decentralized world, we want an ability to be able to show who we are without showing who we, where we live and everything else about us, right? What this will allow you to do is control which data gets presented to the other side. Basically, the verifiable credentials that you want the other side to see, you'll be able to show them that, verify it, and they won't get to see the rest of all of your information, right? So I thought that was a simple analogy to kind of explain what kind of functions this will, provide for you in the real world. So I think that this is going to be one of many amendments that we're seeing now coming to the XRP ledger, which will allow for the institutions and banks and others to come play in this ecosystem in a way where they can do the KYC. The other, aspect to this is the ability to do permissioned dexes, basically where, you will be able to verify who's going to participate in your, liquidity pool, your DEX, your project, whatever you're building out. And so, once again, we ask the question all the time, right? Why is XRP not moving? Okay, well, that's the big question, right? That's the $1 trillion question, right? When you dig in deeper, you start to see that we haven't had any functionality on the XRP ledger besides some basic, very simple functions, right? Now that we're starting to get all these amendments, all this utility added, it's being added to the XRP ledger in a decentralized way on the layer 1, where you don't have to go rely on a third party. Unlike on Ethereum, where you have to go rely on Uniswap to use an AMM, on the XRP ledger, the AMM's built in at the layer 1 level. So you're just using the XRP ledger. You're not relying on a third party to go, build out an AMM, right? It's the simple comparison there between Uniswap and our AMM here on the XRP ledger. Now, like I said, these institutions obviously waiting for regulators. That's another big shoe to drop, right? We need to see laws passed in the US so they know that they're within compliance. But the perfect timing of this is we're getting our amendments, our utility, functionality, and ability to do on-chain KYC in a decentralized way before the regulators get their ducks in a row and actually pass the laws that will say, hey, you need to have this in place. We're already getting it in place. And bringing it back to the point, just look at the meme coin craze as a perfect example. We didn't have memes. We didn't have an AMM. We didn't have NFTs. Back in the day, all you could do with your XRP was send a payment that was cheap, fast, and efficient. Great utility in and of itself. I've always said that. But now we're getting more. And we're getting the utilities and the amendments, everything put in place for the big boys and girls to come on in, right? Now, speaking of the big boys and girls coming in, well, take a look at this one here from Smoke. Monetary Authority of Singapore, quote, Ripple is the leading provider of digital asset infrastructure for financial institutions with a proven track record working with regulators and policymakers around the world. This was released just one day ago, but time after time again, what's the common theme that we see? Ripple as the leading provider, right? Ripple setting the standard, right? This is what we continue to see time after time. Another one coming out here yesterday. Huge shout out to Smoke for finding this one. Once again, reiterating, Ripple's already a leading provider of digital asset infrastructure for financial institutions before we even have this ready to go on the XRP ledger, which is why they are putting their developers like Mayuka and others on these amendments to get all this working, get all this tested, break it, fix it, and have it ready to go and ready to go live when these institutions are showing up. As I played in the video yesterday, you got the likes of Larry Fink getting ready and excited to tokenize an internet of value on these blockchains, right? We are setting up the XRP ledger for that right now as we speak. This is why I continue to remain bullish on XRP. Save your comment if you're going to tell me all this good news, XRP price hasn't moved. You can save your comment. Please comment something else. Let's add something new to the conversation, right? Today's video is not about XRP price. Just like so many of my videos are not about XRP price today. It's about fundamentals happening right now, developments happening right now that eventually lead to XRP price going up. I don't spend any of my time sitting around here complaining about why XRP is not going up now when I can watch and see that we don't got all of our ducks in a row. We're waiting for regulations. We're adding new amendments and functionality to the XRP ledger right now, all coming together at the perfect timing of this bull run. Are we going to miss this bull run? Absolutely not. We are perfectly positioned for this bull run. And I think that the meme coin craze is a perfect example. Folks are realizing how great the XRP ledger is. Folks are realizing how much money we got over here in the XRP community, how strong we are, and they're piling on in. And I think that Ripple, while they're holding the hands of the banks and the institutions, this retail explosion of activity is also pretty exciting as well. With that being said, if you appreciate this update, please help share it out far and wide. The XRP community should know that we are making progress, not so much on XRP price today, but from a fundamental perspective, functionality to the ledger, we are continuing to see building and developments which are going to lead to that moment that we've all been waiting for. If you appreciate our updates, make sure we like it on the way out, smash it on the way out, share it out far and wide. And if you haven't already, let's make sure we subscribe, hit that notification bell. Everything else can be found on my website, zachrector.com. And I will see you guys later today in the next video. God bless you all. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.